once you let go of this idea of anything that you're holding on to that, you feel like it's out of your power, it's out of your control, you start to invite what it is that you want, because it's actually miraculous. Like for me, I'll give you an example, because it can be very hard to do, because it's like the exact opposite of what you think you should do, right? If something bad happens to you, or there's something that you want to fix in your life, like for me right now, New York, living in New York in 2020, I've just had this like sting, this like nagging voice in my mind of like, I want to move out of New York City. I want to find somewhere else to live. Like, I'm just not agreeing with it here anymore. I just outgrown it. Like, and I just have this calling of like leaving. And whenever I try to make something like that happen, almost like force it, like it's even more difficult for me to do, because it gets in the way of like my everyday. It gets in the way of like just functioning. It gets in the way of like, no, my environment is controlling me. My environment is the thing that I need to blame right now. And I get myself into this victim mentality of like, hey, I can't do anything because I don't have my ideal environment. So maybe there's something in your life that you're choosing to use and as an excuse to live in victim mentality, right? And for me, that was like New York City. Like, I don't want to be in New York City anymore. I don't like the way this environment feels. And then I just all of a sudden had to like adjust myself accordingly, because I had this distaste for my apartment. I had this distaste for my block, for my neighborhood, for New York as a whole, And I just feel like once that starts, it's like that momentum. It's like an avalanche. You want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Maybe you don't like something, and now as a whole, you don't like it all. So for me, what's been helping me is it's just letting go of this like expectation, this assumption of like what it looks like for me to have my ideal environment, what it looks like when it happens, how it happens, you know? But instead, just allowing things to unfold and just being the me that I want to be, like being the best version of myself every day. Because it's not so much about like how we act or what we say we're gonna do, or even like it's who we are, because it's our everyday, like repetitious, like our habits, our conditioning every single day. What are those thoughts? Because maybe for one day you can be a certain way, but that's not who you are. It's kind of like a diet. Like, yeah, you eat a salad for one day and then the rest of the days you're eating crappy food. Like, what do you think is going to stick? What do you think is going to really make a mark? What you do more of, what you are consistently acting and being and speaking and all of that. Because even if we act a certain way, that doesn't affect so much like who we are unless we're doing it consistently. As like hard as that might sound sometimes, because I know for me, like I really need to get on track with my every single day, like not missing a day of thinking in the right mindset. And sometimes that's hard to do. That's why I love to just pair up and like literally transform an everyday task that I do on a consistent basis. I love to transform it into something more, into something for personal development, such as bathing, right? We all bathe every single day. It's a consistent thing that we do every single day. How can we elevate it and make it into something more meaningful, into something that sticks with us and that we can identify with, and that we can really like shape and shift our perspective and shift our reality. Because for me, for a long time, affirmations were something that I wanted to do every day, but I forgot to do them, or I didn't want to do them, or I thought they were silly. I didn't have that like mindset of like believing in myself that I could do it. So by attaching the affirmation to the soap, in which I use every day anyway, I was able to like hack that consistency, you know. And a lot of people see that, that those results, that beautiful like just momentum, like you do it one day, you do it another day, all of a sudden 30 days, and it's like it's part of you. It's kind of like it's natural for you to do it. It's inborn. It's like it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like a task that you need to like remember to do. It's like you wake up, you brush your teeth, sort of thing. You wake up, you say your affirmation, you get into that positive mindset, and the affirmations, they really soak into your subconscious, and that's really where the magic works, because for me, like, sometimes I shower like in the morning and at night, like twice. So that's like perfect, because your subconscious is really like it's perfect for priming at those hours when you wake up and when you go to sleep, because it's more susceptible to the programming. It's not gonna really like say like back off. I'm not a money magnet. There's less pushback. You're more receiving of these messages, of these affirmations. So for me, just having this taste in my environment, and creating it, focusing on it and growing it, right? Something pisses you off about someone, then you start to notice other little things, and then all of a sudden it grows, right? So my distaste for my environment, for living in New York, it started with little things, and then it started in October, and now we're in December, and it just grew, and it grew, and I just was like, what else is it gonna be that I have to sacrifice, or I have to like come to terms with, or I have to change about the way that I go about life? In the beginning, it was my dance routines, like my dance classes. I used to do a lot of dance classes, and then everything that happened, right? I couldn't do that group dance routine that I loved, and then from there it was just one thing after another, long lines in supermarkets, little things that shouldn't be big, but when you add them all up together, all of a sudden maybe now you have this disregard, and you want to just escape, and you just feel like, I don't like this anymore, I don't like this environment anymore. Let me know in the comments if you feel this way, because no matter where you're living right now, you're somehow probably affected. Just 2020, just how the year went, it's affecting all of us, affecting the whole world. And I try to understand myself and see, well, what is it that I'm missing exactly? Is it the dance classes? Is it adjusting to this change? Is it feeling coerced? Is it feeling forced and mandated, and this sort of like freedom being ripped out of me? Is it that is so bothering me, like annoying me? Or is it that I am lacking something, and that I need to fill that void, and that void was just always there? Because I've been telling a lot of people this for a while now, but 2020, it's like we're throwing up. It's like literally like it's there. It's just we're letting it out. It was always there. It's now we're focusing in on it, and we're noticing it, because we don't have this hustle and bustle. We don't have these distractions. We have to face our demons. We have to face ourselves. Everything is amplified now. Everything. So if you had little arguments, or little problems, now they're big problems, maybe, right? Everyone is different, but I know, like, for me, everything has been amplified, because there's nowhere to hide. You have to face yourself. You have to face your demons. You have to face all of these things that just were always in you. It just needed to come out. Like adversity, hard times allows these things to come out, forces you to deal with it. So in the end of the day, it is a good thing, because now we are stronger as a whole. We are, like, if you think about who I was, right? Like, if I think about who I was in January 2020, if you think about yourself, how you were in January of 2020, wow. Think about all the growth. Think about all the, just everything you've been through, how much you've grown as a person. It's accelerated, it's accelerated personal development. So, in the end of the day, this year really, it taught us so many lessons, and just, it allowed me at least to just learn a lot more about myself, and just have more self-awareness, and just be more in control, because I think in the end of the day, for me at least, this had to do with control. Feeling out of control, feeling under control, you know, and just getting a grip on myself and just having, you know, because I would have these gaps of, you know, events that I would do, tasks that I would do that are now not, I'm not doing them. They're empty now. So I would have to replace that with something. And I was replacing it with a lot of like disregard and like animosity and like distaste for my environment. That's what I was literally living in a victim mentality and blaming, you know, well, I can't do this because, you know, and you get into that spiral, right? But you have to break that cycle. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's any way I can help you, because I know that a lot of us, you know, we just want to share a space. Really, we just want to talk about this and unpack this, because we don't ever want to feel like so alone, so isolated that we're the only ones going through this and no one can relate to me. You know, I spoke to a friend of mine who, you know, she was going through something similar that I went through, and it just felt so nice to have that camaraderie of like, hey, you know, I'm not the only one, you know, and just you can relate, you know. So leave me your comments in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at LifeStone USA. And until the next time, peace and gratitude.